Valentine's Day. It's Friday, February 14th, 2025, and I hope you love weather because we've got no shortage of it to talk about today. Things are getting absolutely wild out there. Let's get right into talking about the current situation. You can see we've got winter storm warnings all up and down California, Oregon, Idaho, down into the Rocky Mountains, all the way as far south as into New Mexico. We've got high wind watches and warnings out there for a lot of areas, as well as our atmospheric river and monster West Coast storm is rocketing across the Intermountain West right now, getting ready to move into the plains. And as that happens, we are preparing on the East Coast for a very widespread, impactful storm. You can see we've got winter weather advisories and watches going out up north, and we have flood watches in effect from Little Rock all the way up to near Pittsburgh. The entire state of Kentucky and almost all of West Virginia and Tennessee is currently under a flood watch. And we're going to talk a lot more about the flooding risk right here in a second, but first, I think the most important thing that we've got to cover here with this storm system is going to be the warm sector, where we do expect to see significant severe weather tomorrow, including tornadoes in Shreveport, Jackson, all the way over towards Birmingham, maybe as far north as into Memphis. We've got an enhanced risk of severe weather tomorrow, driven by the risk for strong damaging winds and tornadoes. In fact, we already have a 10% hatched risk of tornadoes right here in the mid-Mississippi River Valley, where Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana meet. We have a 5% probability of tornadoes all the way over towards Montgomery and as far back as into East Texas. And again, a big problem with tomorrow's storms is going to be the strong winds. Get ready in Memphis and Birmingham. 60 to 70 mile per hour winds are going to be possible as a strong squall line is going to be racing through. Here's what the radar could look like tonight around 6 p.m. Eastern. You can see we've got scattered snow showers that will be extremely heavy at times from Oregon all the way down to New Mexico and Arizona, especially in the higher elevations. We expect intermittent blizzard conditions as our monster storm system that slammed California yesterday is still with us, but it's not producing as much precipitation over the mountains as it did on the West Coast, honestly, because the Sierras kind of wrung all the moisture out. But as the upper level system traverses over the mountains into the plains, there's going to be a new moisture source tapped into here from the Gulf that's going to allow for the storm system to become apparent again on the surface in the form of snow, heavy rain, and even freezing rain, maybe from southern Iowa over into Indiana and Ohio. But look at all these thunderstorms popping up here around 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. These are going to be producing really heavy rainfall rates around Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, up towards Cincinnati, Lexington, and Louisville. These are going to produce flooding rains. Once again, please watch out if you're in a flood-prone area, especially in western Kentucky, western Tennessee over there. This is going to be a strong, impactful storm system just on the rain side. And then later in the afternoon, we've got to shift our focus down here to this portion of the storm where we expect to see significant severe weather. That's right, all eyes are going to be on the south tomorrow around 4 p.m. through midnight as a really impressive squall line is going to come together here from about Shreveport all the way up past Memphis. This squall line is going to pack with it 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, and then also a pretty robust tornado threat. And we expect that line of storms to make it into Memphis around 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central tomorrow. And around this time, we will see widespread severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings lighting up this entire line. I think there is also a chance that we see some prefrontals here around the 3 to 5 p.m. time frame. You can see over here in Mississippi, there's a couple of cells that try to get going by themselves. Those could be tornadic in nature, but a lot of our tornadoes are going to come from embedded supercells in this line, and they're going to be QLCS tornadoes as well. The strong winds and the severe weather is going to be impacting Nashville potentially. This is around midnight, around 1 a.m. or so. The storm's going to make it past Lexington, Kentucky. It'll be moving into the Huntsville, Alabama area around midnight to 1 a.m. as well. Birmingham, probably closer to 2 or 3 a.m. before it gets to you. But man, this could cause damaging winds as far east as into northwest Georgia, maybe even East Tennessee. I wouldn't be surprised if the slight risk gets expanded farther to the east, or we get a day 2 slight risk for the early morning hours on Sunday here, as this storm system really doesn't let up until it hits the Appalachian Mountains and we get well into the day on Sunday. But wait, before we get too much farther into that, I've got to take a brief moment here to shout out today's awesome sponsor, Aura all-in-one protection from online threats. You ever use an app that asks for your location and you give it access because it makes your life easier in some way? I know I do that all the time, but I'm always a little bit hesitant when it comes to the free apps because they sometimes request this data to share it with just about anyone. And that includes selling your location information to data brokers who package your info into detailed detailed profiles that get auctioned off to the highest bidder. This could be banks, health insurance companies, employers, predatory lenders, law enforcement, marketers, political campaigns, debt collectors, and even scammers. Go ahead and search for yourself online. You'll probably find your info for sale somewhere. My information used to show up on these sites, but it doesn't anymore thanks to Aura. Aura identifies data brokers that sell your info, and they submit opt-out requests on your behalf. Give them a few weeks and you'll see a big difference when you Google yourself. And Aura's going to monitor your personal data for you, including your social security number, and they're going to alert you if there's any sort of activity out there with your information that could be identity theft. You're also going to get a world-class VPN on top of all of this, which is just icing on the cake. It's a really nice feature. So go to aura.com/Ryan Hall, y'all, and you're going to be able to try this for free for 14 days. And of course, there's a link right at the top of the description. And 14 days is more than enough time to figure out whether or not this is something that you want to stick with. And I'm pretty sure you're going to want to. So click that link or go to aura.com/Ryan Hall, y'all, and get started today. Now let's get back into the video. Here's that full progression again. The peak tornado time, I think, is going to be between maybe 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. And then I think our main focus is going to be the strong straight line damaging winds, especially by the time these storms make it to Jackson, Mississippi. By the time they make it to Nashville, Huntsville, Birmingham, there's going to be an embedded tornado threat inside of this line, but that is a nasty squall line that has strong straight line damaging winds written all over it. And of course, another really concerning part of this storm is going to be the rain. We expect in a very short period of time, maybe up to 5 inches of rain to fall around Memphis, up here around the boot heel of Missouri into southwestern Kentucky. We expect a widespread area to receive anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of rain from Little Rock all the way up to Cincinnati, maybe even as far east as into Charleston, West Virginia. And some of these places are already experiencing a surplus of moisture and like the ground is already saturated. A lot of the rivers and creeks are already high. In my neck of the woods over here in eastern Kentucky, our river isn't expected to crest until this afternoon. And if we get another 3 inches on top of that, it could lead to a pretty significant flooding situation. So if you live in a flood-prone area, please be ready for this. The Weather Prediction Center does have a rare, moderate risk of excessive rainfall for pretty much all of Kentucky up into southern Ohio, western West Virginia, back down into middle and western Tennessee, pretty much from Memphis to Charleston. That's the places that we are most worried about for potential flash flooding and then also significant river flooding as well. So do what you can to prepare now for a pretty impactful flooding event, especially if you live near a river, creek, or stream. All right, so our monster system is going to bring snow to the north as well. I think Michigan, Chicago, I think southern Ontario, up into upstate New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. I think all of you guys are going to get a pretty decent snowstorm out of this. I think by Monday morning, most of the state of Michigan is going to have more than 10 inches of snow on the ground, especially north of Detroit. Same thing for upstate New York, north of Albany. In northern Maine, I think this is where we have the best chance of seeing the heaviest snow totals, and that'll transverse over into Quebec as well, of course. But speaking of snow, watch what happens as I pull this even farther into the future. As soon as this severe weather situation is over, we're going to continue with the daily videos because we have another large-scale, high-impact winter storm on the way next week. Here we are, Tuesday, around 4 p.m. We could be talking about heavy snow as far south as Oklahoma City and Little Rock. We could be talking about more severe storms in Houston and New Orleans. And then this winter storm could be another southern one, potentially impacting Memphis, Nashville, over towards East Tennessee, North Carolina. This looks like it's going to be a big one for the southern Appalachians, potentially a big one for the mid-Atlantic regions. And this one's actually going to curl up the East Coast and become a classic East Coast nor'easter, maybe. Looks like it's going to be one of the more interesting snow systems of the year. I think it's too early to talk about specific details, and we're going to handle our severe weather situation first. But on the Day 5 Outlook, February 19th here, I think we're going to be talking about a winter storm from Kansas City to St. Louis, all the way down to Oklahoma City and Little Rock. The next day, we're going to be talking about that snow moving over towards Knoxville, Lexington, Charleston, up towards Philadelphia, New York City, Baltimore, D.C., Richmond, Greenville, Charlotte. This looks like it's also going to continue right on into New England as well as a major East Coast storm. Now, this is a 20% probability right now. A lot of things are going to change, but this is the most interesting signal for a winter storm I've seen so far this year outside of our historic Gulf Coast blizzard. If you're a snow lover, this one looks like a big one. I don't want to say too much about it because we all know things flip-flop a lot. Generally, generally, all of these areas that were just covered in the blue polygon there, I think we're definitely going to be in for another winter storm. And I know some of us are done with winter. We've had a really interesting winter already so far, but it's important to remember it's just mid-February, and sometimes we get these things all the way through the middle of March. So, yeah, buckle in. Cold air's going nowhere anytime soon, at least not through February 23rd. Below average temperatures expected for the vast majority of us here in America, unless of course you're in Alaska or Hawaii, or maybe over here on the West Coast, we're starting to return to normal and become a little bit above average, especially as we get past February 21st. I think that warm air is going to move east as time goes on. Right now, I think we should just focus on February 23rd and the days before it, and then we'll talk about the warm up after our next big winter storm. Okay, so there's so much going on. We have to take things we have to take these storms one at a time. So it'll be a couple days before I can really dive into that next big winter storm, but make sure you tune in tomorrow for our live stream. We're probably going to be live for 12 hours covering hundreds of severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings across the Mid-South and the Deep South. It looks like it's going to be a dangerous day. So make sure you tune in, turn notifications on, and subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. And I want to say thank you again to Aura for sponsoring this video. I really hope you guys check them out. Anytime we get a sponsor, it's so helpful here. So the more you guys interact with them, the more they might help us out in the future. So thank you to Aura, huge honor, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
You might have noticed things have changed just a little bit in the last few weeks. My friends, this is Tony. Hope you're all doing well, and actually what you're seeing is prophecy being fulfilled in real time. We actually had, and this is something I've shown before, we had, of course, the 7 mountain, prophecy that predicted all the stuff that we're seeing today happening. This is from Johnny, of course, Enlow, talking about how all of these different sectors of society will change completely. And we're now seeing it fulfilled before your very eyes. This book was written many years ago, I think in the 80s even. Talking about the GOV being changed, we're now seeing that happen. You've seen what's going on with Doge going into the USAID. Now, apparently today, or no, it was yesterday. Yesterday went into the education department, or what do you call it? Department of Education. That's the right way to say it. Went in there, and it says here, transformation of the education system, where Christian principles. Oh my goodness, that's weird. Yes, indeed. That kind of stuff will be brought back to your schools. You're seeing these things happening right now in front of us. First, you have to get rid of the bad leadership before you can put in the good leadership, right? And we're seeing that happening right now. And it's very interesting how actually this is predicted as part of, and this is again something else he just put out. And where did we get that term that our president keeps saying? Golden Age. It came from this man. He was saying this back in the 1980s, saying this will occur. Isn't that interesting? Of course, he's not the only one. There's actually others as well that were in tandem with him saying very similar things. You have, of course, Mark, Taylor. He's the guy that predicted that he would become president in the first place. Way back in I think he predicted in 2008. And he was correct. It happens 8 years later, and now he's on his second term. But he predicted also that we will see this system, this prison that we are in, will break forth out of it. Talking about there's 2 powers that were in the way, over the GOV and over the church. The GOV, of course, being Baal, and over the church Jezebel. That these 2 had to be removed for us to go forward. Now, how did we end up in this prison? Okay, I've shown this clip over on my other channel of Neo in the Matrix. Let me play this really quick and I'll show you what's going on. And it's interesting because a lot of people miss it.
When you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy.
So, of course, this is from the movie from 1999, The Matrix, with Keanu Reeves. You have Lawrence Fishburne playing Morpheus talking to Neo. Of course, what's interesting is he mentioned the Matrix is a system. The system is not the same as the VR system around him. You see what I'm getting at? So he says the system is what has caused the people to become the way they are. It's whatever's constructed around us. And of course, you would think it's referring to the actual VR system in the movie, but that's not what he's referring to. He's referring to all the things within the VR system that's causing people to be the way they are. And actually, that's the same in our world. It's not the physical reality that's your enemy. It's the systems built inside of it that are. Now, of course, the word matrix comes from the word in Latin, womb. Now, what is a womb? That's something, obviously, a woman has. And that is something very important to note, that it's talking about the female. Because we're in the age of the child. We're also in the age where the female reigns. I will show you both of those. And this was something Aleister Crowley said, that we're in the age of the child. Who told him this? Aiwass. Aiwass claimed to be the devil. Who told him this? Right? Then you have the Sibylline oracles saying that the final age will be ruled by one that is, of course, gay. Then if you read down a little bit more, it says that it's a female. Let me just read this so you'll see what I'm saying. Let me not live when the gay one, of course, shall reign, but then when heavenly grace shall rule within, and when a holy child, the murderous guile of all shall utterly destroy with chains, opening the baleful deep, and suddenly the house of wood shall cover mortals round. But when the 10th generation shall go down to Hades, then shall come the mighty power of one of the female sex, and God himself will permit many evils to increase, when she with royal honor crowns herself, and all the year will bow how like an age. The parched sun running onward nightly shines, the stars will leave the heaven, and rushing on with strong tempest, he will waste the earth. This is talking about the final end. Now, what other time in history can you say that a female, of course, that is gay, was also, reigning? Other than now. What other time in history? 6,000 years ago, 5,000, 2,000, 1,000. Was there ever a time where it was like that over the world? No. Right now it is, though. Or it was, because it's now ending. It is ending. We're moving out of this age of the child, and we're moving into the age of Goshen, which has already been predicted. I showed you the Seven Mountain, of course, prophecy, and now they're calling it the Golden Age, because the devil's age has been denied. And I've talked about this this concept of various ages. There's different types of ages. There's 100-year-long ages, 500-year-long ages, 1,000-year-long ages. And, of course, the phoenix would live for 500 years. There was a phoenix, an actual bird, according to historians. Various historians in ancient times would say that it would come to a certain city in Egypt. And when it did, it meant it was the start of a new age. I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but this is something that they used to say historically occurred. This being would live 500 years, this bird, and it would come to a certain city every 500 years. And that would be the start or dawn, of course, of the new age. And interestingly about it, the devil's 5,000, or what did he want? He wanted 2 500-year time frames. He wanted 1,000 years. Why did he want 1,000 years? He wanted his own millennial kingdom, and he's not, and it's been denied. So I'm going to show you what's going on here. So how is that being fulfilled today? How does this relate to today? Well, you have the USAID, right? You've heard about that, right? That is actually fulfillment of a lot of this stuff. This USAID was being used by the three-letter, of course, agencies to essentially put our ideas out into the world. What kind of ideas were those? $520 million for ESG consultants in Africa. $45 million for DE&I scholarships, trans opera, transgender comic book. See all these things here? They all fit into this concept of the female or the rainbow reigning. And that was over the entire world, being put forth via the USAID to the entire world. But it's now been rejected and it has been stopped. Now, of course, what's interesting about this is we're now instead entering into the golden age of Goshen. I didn't talk about this. Goshen had light when Egypt was in darkness. Egypt is a big part of this entire thing. We were in Egypt. We were in the prison. We were underneath, and kind of like when Moses brought Israelites out of Egypt, that's essentially where we were at. Now we are moving out of that. We have light in Goshen. We're moving out into a new, of course, age where things are good. This, of course, like I said, Johnny, Enlow, he talked about these things, and we're going to get into all this in this video. The fact is, let me get into some of the stuff I didn't get into on my other channel. So, if you watched the other video, I'm going to kind of skip a little bit ahead here. Let me show you something rather interesting. This is something I didn't know until yesterday. You've read this verse before. I'm sure you've heard of it. Psalm 14, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. Now, I would have assumed that this was never mistranslated. It just sounds so obvious and simplistic, right? I mean, well, how could that be mistranslated, right? Well, this word God isn't what it says. It says Elohim, which is plural for God. It also refers to angels. And let me show you why this is important. Here's the actual Hebrew term. It refers to rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, gods, small g, goddesses, any being that is divine or spiritual. It could be false, it could be evil, it could be demons, it could be anything. Well, I don't know if demons wouldn't count, but fallen gods or fallen angels would count, right? You see what I'm getting at? So it refers to any sort of being in this classification. So it actually says, the fool has said in his heart, there are no divine beings. There are no angels. There are no gods. There is no Elohim. There is no the top Yahweh. There is no any of these beings. None of them exist. And isn't that what they've tried to make this age all about? It's all about science, atheism, Neil deGrasse Tyson, or even in the church. They've tried to get they removed the mythology in the scriptures. I can't speak for some reason. They remove things like the giants. When it says Leviathan, they say, well, it's probably referring to an alligator when it has a tail like a cedar tree. Makes no sense. Clearly referring to a dragon or a dinosaur. They don't want you to think that, obviously. Jonah was swallowed by a whale when actually it was a cetus. A cetus was a sea monster. You can go look it up. The literal word is cetus in the Greek. Actually in the Hebrew or the Greek. It says cetus, which is a being that is a sea monster, not a whale. Okay? All these things were just completely changed in scripture intentionally, so you don't believe in things like this, right? You don't believe there were giants. You don't believe that there were dragons. You don't believe that there were fallen, beings like watchers that came down on Mount Hermon. No, you don't want you to believe any of this stuff. And that's what exactly has happened in the church. The church doesn't even know what an angel is. The word angel isn't even a classification. It's a job title. It's like postman. The word angel literally means messenger. It doesn't mean a certain type of being that's divine. It means nothing. That's all they're taught in church now. Oh, just angels. That's it, angels. Like one word to describe an entire section, and don't look any farther into it, right? So I thought that was interesting. Also, you had, of course, the baby boomers, right? So you had, of course, around the 1960s, you had, of course, the Woodstock Festival, where everyone started to change. in our society. And the reason why that happened was because of what was going on before this. Again, the church had no answers to these things. That's why things went the wrong direction like they did. The church was put to sleep, made to be like children, never grow up fully to an adulthood and in their faith. And this is what led to things like what we saw in the late 1960s. And it even says here, in this article, which is completely secular, this is a secular article, baby boomers have bankrupted almost all of America's public institutions, indebted future generations at levels impossible to repay. And again, this is not fully true. What I think it's actually talking about is those in charge that are baby boomers, but also, if you think about it, the baby boomers enabled or allowed it to happen. Does that make sense? So they didn't actually do this, but they allowed it to happen by others that were baby boomers. All right, does that make sense? At levels impossible to repay, delivered us all into some sort of dystopia, frayed social fabric, and total loss of public trust. It's tempting to claim that the boomers invented adolescence. Again, what age did the devil say we were going to be in from 1904 until now? The age of the child. Let me show you that again. Where's that at? I got it around here somewhere. Here it is. So here it is. This is from Ayahuasca. Ayahuasca identified himself as the devil to Aleister Crowley. This is the age of Horus, but particularly from 1904 onward, he said it would be the age of the aeon of the child. It's not merely a symbol of growth, but of complete moral independence and innocence. We may then expect the new aeon to release mankind from its pretense of altruism. Altruism is when you're thinking of others before yourself, you're kind, love your neighbors yourself, give charitably to people, think of others before yourself. So you're released from this concept, and you're told to be individualistic and selfish instead. It also says that you'll be released from obsession of fear and consciousness of sin. So you'll no longer think sin is a big deal. Again, you've seen that happen in our society as well. This is the devil telling what he's going to do for the next 100 years from 1904 onward. Right? Matter of fact, even in the church, a sin's a sin. There's no levels of sin. They don't talk about different kinds of sin. They just say, oh, sin's a sin. Doesn't matter. You do this little itty bitty thing, you jaywalk, it's the same thing as doing something really bad. That's how some taught. That's not correct. It will possess no consciousness of purpose in its own existence. In other words, you won't have a real purpose in your life. You'll just be all about, what can I do to gratify myself today? Individualistic, selfish mindset. It will not be possible to persuade it that it should submit to incomprehensible standards. You don't need to follow scripture. Just have faith. You don't need to do anything right. Just have faith. You sin in word, thought, and deed every day. You can't stop. Why even try to stop? It will suffer from spasms of transitory passion. You can't stop yourself from sinning. See, this is in the church also. The devil literally said what doctrine will be in the church for this age. It will be absurdly sensitive to pain. You see all these people, after our president won, having to go to counselors for months on end because they're, I can't live anymore. They can't handle even the littlest of pain. This is exactly how the devil described this age to be. And that's exactly what happened, just like he had described. Unfortunately, the devil lost when it came to the next age. So, let me show you what's going on. I'm trying to find the article. Where was I at? My goodness, I got too many windows open again, like usual. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. So, yeah, the devil succeeded on making it the age of the child, but then he didn't succeed on traversing it from that to the next age. So what he was designing for the next age, let me show you that. Oh my goodness, I got too many windows open again. Goodness gracious. Give me a second here. Too many windows open like usual. Here it is. This was supposed to be the next age. The age was supposed to be called the Age of Themis. Themis is a god of justice. If I can get my mouse to work here. Justice. See that? So it was supposed to move from the age of the child to the age of justice. Social justice. Does that sound familiar? That's what I was going to move to next. Unfortunately, they failed. The devil failed. He wanted to have two ages, two 500-year spans. And this was his plan, to go from the age of the child to the age of Themis, and he completely failed. And we're already seeing the failure. You can see it in Hollywood. You can see it everywhere. Let me show you what I'm referring to. Here you have Rachel Zegler talking about Snow White, her new movie, and how she doesn't care about a prince. We don't even need him. He doesn't save us. We don't fall in love with him. Check this out.
She's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love.
So you can see there what she said, right? Now, what's interesting about that, how well has Snow White done with their trailers? 1 million thumbs down. 40,000 thumbs up, 1 million thumbs down. Looks like it's not doing too well. A lot of people are rejecting this age of Themis. This age they were trying to bring us into. Everyone's rejecting it. All right? So I thought that was kind of interesting. So the devil succeeded with one, but he failed with the other one. Instead, God has denied this second, of course, age, and has said instead, we're going to bring it into the age of Goshen instead, as you can see here. So we're being brought into the age, or the golden age, of course, of Goshen. This is from a year ago on Trey Smith's channel. He's talking about this, and of course, this has to do with, again, Egypt. So it comes back to Egypt, Goshen being the land where the Israelites were in Egypt, and there's a light there while it was in darkness in Egypt. And of course, now we have a number of other things I wanted to get into. You have all these different scandals that have been happening in the church. You have here Daystar and their recent scandal. Check this out. This has to do with, of course, the Lamb family that owns Daystar, and how they were caught in a number of scandals and lies and cover-ups.
Daystar IT department found emails between the two containing lewd statements, and another from Marcus that read, "I cannot wait to make you the next Mrs. Lamb." But even worse, Marcus and Joni completely lied. They weren't being blackmailed at all. They were being sued by 3 former employees, and
So this is kind of weird, because like they were first admitting to that there was so they were admitting to an affair with another lady, the guy, and that they were being blackmailed, and this is what they showed on their TV show. But actually, that's not what was happening. In reality, they were getting sued by 3 different former employees, and they were talking about this extramarital affair in the lawsuits. So that's what it came back to actually being all about. So they were actually covering up. That is such a weird cover-up. And of course, so you've seen, I'm sure you've heard of all these different scandals in the church over the last 5 years. There's been like every other minister fallen to the wayside. One of John MacArthur's top guys, I'm trying to remember the guy's name, I just can't think of his name right off the top of my head. I mean, there's so many of them. You also had Ravi Zacharias. You had the guy that was Justin Bieber's pastor, Carl Lentz. I think his name was Steve something. I can't remember his last name. But he was one of John MacArthur's main pastors. And, I mean, so there's all these different pastors falling left and right. Tony Evans even stepped down. But, so it shows you that this is the thing, this is the fulfillment of the Seven Mountain, of course, prophecy, which for some reason, here it is, where it talks about all these different sectors of society will be replacing in the leadership. Government, of course, education, which now we're seeing the Department of Education. We're seeing all the things going on with Doge, USAID. Businesses like Disney losing tons of money. A lot of these Hollywood companies now making non-woke movies. Now you have even religion as the one I'm referring to with regards to all these scandals, so this leadership can be removed and new leadership can be put in its place. So that's what's going on with all that. And what else do I want to get into? There's actually a lot of stuff I have here open. Now, as I mentioned, this ayahuasca, which claims to be the devil, which was talking to Aleister Crowley, also claims to be the minister of Hurparkrat, which, if you look that up, is a god of the ancient Egyptians, knew as Harpocrates. Now, Harpocrates is a child. So the age of a child. Aiwass said he was bringing in the age of the child. This god is, or this small g god, or fallen angel, was a child figure to the Egyptians in their religion, son of Osiris. Again, also connected to the fool, which of course he said he is the fool as well. So it's interesting, the timing of all this, because I mentioned the real timeline that we're in. If I can find it here. I had it open around here somewhere. Oh my goodness, there's so many windows. I can't find it now. Here it is. Okay, so again, generally speaking, ministers tell you that we're in this timeline right here. That we're way before the millennial kingdom. He's never come back. It's been 2,000 years. We're still waiting. Even though he said, "Behold, I come quickly." When in reality, he did come back. He set up his kingdom for 1,000 years, the millennial reign, during the Middle Ages. And we're actually in the Satan's little season. And then he's going to come back for the final time next. This is what I believe has already occurred. And it talks in the Dead Sea Scrolls about these 500-year periods of time called 500-year Onas. And, of course, I've shown before how these are situated, that during 500 BC, or actually it's around 480 BC, that was when Esther saved Israel. That was when it went from the red dragon to the white dragon. Then we had it go from the white dragon to the red dragon again at around 0 AD, when the King of Kings is born. That's why when it says in the New Testament that the devil is the god of this age, it's saying the word is not age. I mean, it says the god of this world. It is the world. It is the word age, not world. So it says actually the devil is the god of this world, but it says the word world is actually age or aeon. So he was actually over that 500-year period of time from 0 AD to 500 AD. Then 500 AD to 1500 AD was 1,000 years, or two 500-year Onas, where the white dragon was over it. And this was shown with King Arthur and Merlin having a dream of a red and white dragon fighting. And the red dragon represented Wales, the white dragon represented the Saxons. And the Saxons actually took over for 1,000 years. And that was the Middle Ages. So now, then we were in 1500 AD until around 2024, we were under the red dragon again for 500 years. And now we're switching back to the white dragon, or the age of Goshen. Now the devil wanted 1,000 years, and God didn't give it to him. Because it says right in Revelation, he will have a short time. 1 day is 1,000 years. It's shorter than 1 day. Then you have the factor of it saying that we're in the age of the child. We're in the age of the fool, as I've indicated through Aleister Crowley, what the devil, or Aiwass, said to Aleister Crowley. And what's interesting is, if you're a child, you're not wise. If you're a child in the faith, you're not wise, right? So what's interesting about that is in 2nd Esdras, here we go, 2nd Esdras 44, it talks about, I've shown this before, how they had 94 books rewritten or written again by Ezra and 5 scribes, because they had lost a lot of the scriptures. And then it said that 24 of the books will be given to the righteous and unrighteous. But the last 70 books will be given to the wise among your people. Wise means you're an adult. You're no longer a child, right? What's interesting about that is, if we're in the age of the child, it would make sense that no one knows about these apocryphal texts. These 70 are the apocryphal texts. Now we're now seeing the apocryphal texts becoming popular. And they were not popular before, during the age of the child. So that's something interesting as well. Now, so the phase of this next phase of the Aeon of the Child, the next phase after the Aeon of the Child, what they wanted was social justice. And what they wanted to do was bring in the Age of Themis, which is about justice. Now, I mentioned I wanted to play a clip from this movie. I think it's right here. If it loads. No, that's not it. Well, here's Joseph, of course, Z. He's talking in his video. Let me see if I can get to the right spot so I can tell you. Dark Egypt and the Light of Goshen. So that's where I got that concept from, was from him. But getting over to the clip I wanted to play, if I can find it. Give me a second here. 1 second. It's way over here off the screen. I can't even see it. All right, here it is. So this is Justice League. Notice where Wonder Woman's standing in this clip. She's standing on the Statue of Justice. A female warrior standing on a Statue of Justice. This tells you everything about what I was referring to. They wanted to enter into the Age of Themis. They went from the Age of the Child, where the woman, of course, is reigning, to the Age of Justice, where you have the female warrior. If I can get it on the screen again. I got, again, too many windows open. Here we go. Female warrior standing on justice, as you can see there in the scene. So that was what I was trying to get at with regards to that. So you can see this is what they wanted to bring in, but it's been rejected by society, because you can see social justice, all this stuff with woke, is being completely and utterly rejected. People no longer care for it, and that was what the devil was trying to bring in, and he completely failed. And we've entered instead into the Age of Goshen, where we're now seeing instead the seven mountain, of course, prophecy being fulfilled. We're seeing the USAID being cleaned out. We're seeing all these things happen. Anyway, that's my video. I'm kind of wondering what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below, and thanks for watching. Was everything that we have seen of recent predicted? This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. We're going to get into some rather amazing stuff that I discovered with my researcher. It's going to blow your mind. All right. It has to do with, of course, this all being predicted. What we're seeing with USAID, that was predicted. What we've seen all of recent with Hollywood and how it's essentially fallen. I'm going to show you some stuff that just is unbelievable, actually. And it shows you how they were even telling us all this in their movies as well. And how it all relates to something that was written about over 100 years ago. Actually, there's numerous texts I'm going to show you where they showed their plans and how they were trying to bring their plans to pass, how they almost did it, and how God stopped it. Alright, that's what we're going to get into in this video. I know it sounds like a lot. But of course, I showed recently on my other channel this video of the Matrix, where we have here, of course, Neo and Morpheus is explaining to him that the Matrix is a system that's built around us.
When you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy.
Now, of course, what's interesting about this clip is they entitled it, "The Matrix is a System, Neo." Now, of course, when you watch the movie, it looks like what's the system, or what the Matrix is the world around you. Right? This virtual reality construct, but that's not what he said. He said it was a system And you saw he was going against the flow of the system. So the system is actually created by man. And of course, it's programmers behind the system in the movie. But what's being said is that this world we live in, it's not the physical world around you that is your cage. It is actually what they've created the world to be, with all the systems in the world. And so this is what a lot of people don't understand. So of course, what's also interesting is the word matrix comes from the word the womb. We see it in Exodus 34:19. It means in Latin, the word means in Latin womb. And of course, that is a female thing. So interestingly, that's also another factor. A lot of people don't understand this, but we're living in a female, of course, world at this point. What does that mean? So that's what we're going to get into in this whole video. Here is a prophecy from Mark, Taylor, the Babylonian prison, and it talks about how the church is in this prison. It's not just the church, it's the world itself. And again, this comes back to something I've talked about numerous times before, that we're living in the age or eon of the devil. And actually, it's the age of Horus. But actually, that age is now ended. And so we're going to get into what the devil was trying to do. I'm going to show it in precise detail. You're not going to believe this. And how God said, no, we're going to end this right now. We're entering into the age of Goshen, a golden, of course, age. You've probably heard that phrase of recent. Even our president has been saying that. And I'm going to show you where that came from. That was prophetically said as well. And I'm going to show you all of this stuff in this video. So what's really interesting about it is over the world, or our sort of governmental type of system, is Baal. And over the church, it was Jezebel. This is kind of the concept. So these two had to be defeated for us to be released from this prison. Now, before the devil could even get us in this prison, he had to change essentially how people thought, how the world worked, and make it to where people could not actually fully mature. And this comes back to Aleister Crowley, where he talks about this will be the age of the child. Starting from 1904 onward until about very recent, we were under the age of the child. Now, of course, when I say age, there's different types of ages. There's 100-year ages, there's 500-year ages, there's 1,000-year ages. And when I say the age of the child, I'm referring to approximately year age. When I refer to the age of Horus, that was a 500-year age. It started around 1440. Now, of course, what's interesting about this is we're now entered into a different 500-year age, the age of Goshen. This was not part of the devil's plan. I'll show you what the devil's plan was. We're going to get into that as well. It's very interesting because they were already trying to bring the next age to pass after the age of the child, and they failed miserably. And you're starting to see it all come out now. USAID, for example, is a perfect example of this. And on top of that, Hollywood completely failing with their woke stuff. That's another example of how they failed to go from the age of the child to the next age that they wanted. The next age that they wanted is called the Age of Themis. And I'm going to get into that. I'm going to show you how they even showed it in movies. Matter of fact, they showed it in this movie right here with Wonder Woman standing on the Statue of Justice. A female warrior standing on the Statue of Justice. I'm going to show you that clip. Is exactly what they wanted for this next age. This is exactly what they wanted. Social, of course, justice, and it failed miserably. So the devil had failed completely. So I'm going to show you how all this works in this video and much more. First of all, I'm going to mention food supply, 25-year shelf life. Link is in the description. 3 months worth for $808. This, of course, is the deluxe package. It includes twice as much variety of food. It includes more calories per day. And obviously, when you're going through the apocalypse, you might want to enjoy your food a little bit more. So there's more variety. not just 5 items, right? It's 808 for 3 months worth. Link is in the description. Also, this book here, The Lost Ways, How Your Great-Great-Grandfather Lived Without Electricity, How to Build a Cellar, Do Things Around the House Like They Did in the Good Old Days, hundreds of pages illustrated. You're going to definitely want to get that if you have not already. Link is in the description for that as well. So, editor, we're going to get into a ton of stuff, like I said. Let's get into this. First, I wanted to mention that there was a prediction 2,000 years ago in the Sibylline Oracles about this current time. And what's really interesting is how accurate it is. I've read this before. I've shown this before. Let me not live when the gay one shall reign, but when the heavenly grace shall rule within, and when the holy child, the murderous guile of all shall utterly destroy the chains. Now, right here, notice what it says. Okay? Scroll down. Opening the baleful deep, and suddenly the house of wood shall cover mortals round. But when the 10th generation shall go down to Hades, then shall come the mighty power of the one of the female sex. This is the one that reigns. A woman, a female, of course, who, is lesbian. And now just think about that. Whenever in the last so many thousands of years has that ever happened, where you had a female who is also, gay? When have you ever had that? Someone reigning that was both of those two things, ever, in the last 5,000 years. Never happened until now. Am I wrong? And it says right here, will permit many evils to increase when she, with royal honor, crowns herself, and all the year will be like an age, the parched sun running onward nightly shines, the stars will leave heaven, and rushing on with a strong tempest, he will waste the earth, and there shall be a rising of the dead. So this is talking about literally the last time, at the end, okay? It's talking about when everything's done. That's when she will reign, okay? Does that make sense? This was in the Sibylline Oracles, and it talks about our time. We are entering into the age of Goshen. This is when he would come back. Sometime, I don't know, I'm not going to be sitting here predicting whenever he comes back, but it will be in this age. But this age is not how they described it. It's not the way people think it is. Okay? A lot of people have a certain paradigm that they put out there. Oh, it's just going to get worse and worse. Nothing good's ever going to happen. It's just going to get worse. And then we're going to get beamed out of here. This is the common thing that's taught. And I'm going to show you how actually that is not correct. I'm going to show you how it's not correct. We're not in the timeline everyone thinks we're in. Okay, let me show you this. I got it around here somewhere. Yep, there it is. I just saw it. Too many windows open. Is it this one? Yeah, here it is. So, check this diagram out. This is actually very accurate. We thought we were here, but we're actually right here. Okay? So everyone's thinking that the millennial kingdom has never happened yet. And then we've been waiting 2,000 years for him to come back. When actually that already happened during the Middle Ages. And then we're actually in the little season after the Middle Ages when he goes forth to deceive and conquer, which is of course exactly what he did. Now we're entering into the time after that, when he comes back, the final time, and everything's over. That's the time we're actually going into. Okay? This is what a lot of people don't understand, but this was intentional. This was all designed intentionally for everyone to be deceived. It even says in Revelation that he will go forth to deceive all the nations. Everyone. They won't even know where they're at in time. They'll have no clue. It says that he will change the times and seasons in Daniel. He exactly did that. We used to have something called the AM1 calendar. You can look it up on the Encyclopedia Britannica. You won't be able to look it up on anything else. You go to Google, you type in, what is the AM calendar? It will give you the AM3 calendar. It will never give you the AM1 calendar. You have to go to Flavius Josephus, the Septuagint. You got to go to books from the 1980s, like the Encyclopedia Britannica, to even look it up. Almost no one believes in it because no one knows about it. That was the original calendar. Been scrubbed. No one knows about it. It's kind of amazing, actually. It says that we're in the year about 7,540 or something. I can't remember the exact number. I don't want to go look it up right now, but it's basically 7,540 approximately. That's what year we're in. Now, if you go look at the Jewish timeline calendar, which is AM3, which is a modified one, they'll tell you that we're in like something like 5,780. I'll show you right now. I'll go look it up and show you what I'm talking about. If I can just get this thing to load. There we go. Hebrew timeline. Hebrew calendar year. There we go. They'll tell you that we're in, and that's not what I mean. Hebrew date. Year. Hebrew year. I guess I just don't know how to write it right. Hebrew year. What year are we in? 5785. This is what they claim we're in. We're not in that. We're in 7,540 if you go off the original timeline. Which, of course, everyone believed 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. Just everybody, for some reason, today doesn't believe it anymore. So that's something that I've covered before. We're not in the time that you think we are. Now, what's interesting about the AM3 calendar is if you read the Apocrypha and you know the AM3 calendar, you're going to think that he's going to come back around. So let me show you what's going on here. This is interesting. So the Hebrew year, right? You look at this Hebrew year, 5785. If you read the Apocrypha, it tells you that he comes back at 6,000. So if you believe this calendar, it would mean he's going to come back in about 215 years. A lot of people don't even know that. I mean, if you look at the Apocrypha, it tells you he comes back at 6,000. I've shown it before. Actually, I think I have it open over here. And I'm not trying to get into all this right now. I'm trying to get into something else. I don't want to get into this huge rabbit trails because it'll take me forever to explain all the stuff I want to explain here. But the point is that if you use the wrong calendar, which is what everyone uses currently, you'll think he's coming back in 215 years if you use the Apocrypha. Okay? But if you actually understand where we're at, the actual real year, we're 500 years after the Millennial Kingdom. We're in 7,540 or something. And we're already 500 years after it. We're in the little season. We're already almost at the end of the little season. So, where we are at the end of the little season. That's why we're going into the Golden Age, or the Age of Goshen. Now, let's get into some of these other things because I don't want to keep going into that. So, as you can see, this is a perfect example. I showed you the Sibylline oracles, how it talks about who will rule in the last times. And it will be, where is it at? I already lost it. Here we are. A woman that's, of course, gay, right? So what's interesting is if you look at like Hollywood, what do you get all the time? That's what's promoted everywhere. It's also the female. Check this out. So, of course, this clip is about Snow White. This is Rachel Zegler talking. I think this is Gal Gadot right next to her, which, of course, plays Wonder Woman, which I'm going to show you that clip later with the Justice League. But this is about Snow White. She's talking about the story of Snow White, saying how the prince ain't going to save me. It's not about him. It's about me. And so it shows you it's all about, of course, women. We are, of course, the power now. That's what is being said or conveyed in this. I'll just play it and you'll see what I'm getting at.
That is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love.
So, of course, not dreaming about true love. Doesn't need you. Doesn't need, of course, the man. I'm better than that. I don't need it anymore. See what I mean? So this is, of course, exactly what the Sibylline oracles predicted. Who will reign? Of course, it's a female, and it's one like this. Don't need a man. See what I mean? Perfect example right there. You have, of course, the USAID, which, of course, is essentially controlled by the three-letter, agencies, and was being told what to do, and they're trying to promote things that they wanted to be around the world. Notice some of the stuff that they were funding. You have ESG, you have DE, of course, I. That relates exactly to what we're talking about. Trans opera, transgender comic book, BBC. You see all these things being promoted. They were purposely trying to push this, of course, all around the world. Why? Because this was part of the devil's agenda. Where did this all come from? Ayahuasca. Aleister Crowley spoke to literally the devil. That was his name. And that's what, and we're going to get into, I'm going to show you that in a minute. All right. And what he said. what this age was going to be. I'm going to show you how they laid it all out. They said everything, and they tried to bring it to pass, and everyone just completely ignored it while it was happening. And so, of course, here's an example of how the world is rejecting their new age. So they were trying to go from the age of the child to the age of Themis, all right? So that's what they're trying to move us to, and they failed. You can see it very clearly when you look at the results. You saw her say what she said about Snow White, and here is the result of what she said. 1 million thumbs down. Everyone's rejecting this change. They're rejecting the age that the devil was trying to bring us into, the age of Themis. So they completely failed. But first, they actually were successful in changing us into the age of the child, which Aleister Crowley was talking about from 1904 onward. Society was turned into a children, where they never grow up and actually take responsibility. They're all very individualistic-minded, not thinking about their brother, love thy neighbor as thyself type of mindset they had instead. Very selfish, individualistic mindset. The idea was to change us and change the entire world to be children, of course, of the devil. Once you're a child in your mind, you're not able to get out, of course, of this, prison. That was the idea. So it says here, we're supposed to be innocent as doves and wise as serpents, but the devil actually completely reversed it and made it evil as serpents and as foolish as doves. That was kind of his mindset of making us into sort of people that don't know how to behave correctly. And I can show you what I'm referring to here. So, okay, well, I'll show you that in a minute. I got so many things. I'm going to show you a lot of stuff, actually. I'm going to have to backtrack after I show you this because I got a million things in front of it. Okay, so here it is. I finally found it. So here is Aleister Crowley's writing on this. I've shown this before on one video. How we're entering into the age of the child. Okay? The Aeon of Horus entering into the age of the child is not merely a symbol of growth, but of complete moral independence and innocence. We may then expect the new Aeon to release mankind from its pretense of altruism. Altruism is where you think of others before yourself. Kindness, generosity, doing things for others that need things, being kind. Love your neighbor as yourself, essentially, is what it is. And instead of you being that way, you become completely individualistic, selfish, thinking only about yourself. That's what they wanted to make you into. Its obsession with fear and its consciousness with sin. They wanted to get rid of your consciousness of sin, meaning you don't even see it as existing, or it's not a big deal. You see all these ministers falling left and right. You see how the world doesn't care at all about it. It will possess no consciousness of purpose in its own existence. So instead of you actually having a real lofty goal or important goal in life, you're just thinking about, what do I get to eat today? What can I have for myself? Extremely selfish, shallow stuff, right? It will not be possible to persuade it that it should submit to incomprehensible standards. So they won't want to have any standards whatsoever. It will suffer from spasms of transitory passion, meaning you won't be able to control yourself. You'll just do whatever. I can't stop sinning. That whole thing that they say, the Calvinists talk about, total depravity, can't stop sinning. That's exactly what the devil wanted for this age. It will be absurdly sensitive to pain. Won't be able to suffer in any way, shape, or form. Be affected by nothing, which we see now people going to counselors over nothing. Oh no, we got this new president. I can't, my whole life is destroyed. I mean, this is ridiculous, right? That's the kind of mindset. This was written in 1904. When was this written? I think, it was a little bit after 1904. It was written 100 years ago, basically. And he's talking about basically what is going to happen today. And he was right. He was 100% right. Now, I wanted to show you a number of other things. I got way ahead of myself there. Okay, so we're actually moving into this golden, age of Goshen. This is from Trey Smith's video from a year ago. Check out what he had to say here.
Now, 47 in Genesis is still within a wicked empire. That empire is Egypt. Egypt's one of its core symbols is the Ayin Ra, the evil eye. But you have a man within Egypt, Joseph, who is...
So notice he said Egypt. He's talking about Goshen in Egypt. And what's interesting about this is that, and I'm going to get into this in a little bit, remember Egypt got all the plagues, right? But Goshen had light when Egypt had darkness. So we're entering into an age where we'll have light in the midst of darkness. Okay? So this, of course, was also predicted by Johnny, Enlow, many years ago, talking about this particular age. Now people are using this term all the time. It came from these guys. These guys are the ones that actually came up with this term, this phrase. Of course, he also had the seven mountains, prophecy, which is now coming to pass. The GOV will be changed. Education will be changed. Matter of fact, today they're going into the Department of Education and actually they started yesterday and canceling lots of things that are all about the rainbow, which again goes back to the time we're in, the age that they were trying to bring us into. They were trying to bring us into the age of social, justice, Themis, and it failed. So now we're going in and we're doing the age of Goshen and removing all this stuff. Business, we're seeing that with movies. They're now changing. We're seeing that they're getting rid of some of this woke stuff. You see it with the media. The media landscape's changing. All these things are changing. You see that? It is exactly happening as he said it would. We're seeing it in real time. We're seeing also, according to Mark, Taylor, he mentioned that we will see all of these various groups, of course, fall. Kind of like we saw with that Seven Mountain thing. Things will all change. It also refers to the church. All the leadership in the church leading us astray because they keep us as a child. We never mature. These doctrines like I can't stop sinning is literally exactly what Alwas said to Aleister Crowley. You can't stop doing wrong. You won't be able to stop yourself. That's literally what the devil prescribed for this age that we were in, and that's literally the doctrine in a lot of churches. You see what I'm getting at? So this was actually false doctrine, and has been spread, of course, everywhere. Very interesting that it was spread like that. Let's see, I wanted to get this back in the right place. One sec here, I'm trying to move something. Yes, okay, I'm not doing a good job. Let's see if I can do it this way. Maybe this will help. There we go. Anyway, just give me a second. I'm trying to get something in the right place. For some reason, it's not in the right place. Okay. There it goes. All right, got it. So, okay, what do I want to show you next? So we have here, of course, one example of a televangelist. We're talking about the Lamb family. They're televangelists. I think I'm trying to remember what their TV show, not their TV show, their network's called. Just can't think of it from the top of my head. At any rate, let me play this really quick.
Our IT department found emails between the two containing lewd statements and another from Marcus that read, I cannot wait to make you the next Mrs. Lamb. But even worse, Marcus and Joni completely lied. They weren't being blackmailed at all. They were being sued by 3 former employees, and the affair, along with the emails, were meant...
Okay, so it was called Daystar Network. I couldn't remember for some reason. A lot of these prosperity ministers working through this network, these two were over the network, and they were caught. So essentially, I think the wife knew about this affair for a long time. And they were getting sued by 3 different former employees at the same time. And to get ahead of it, they put out this statement that they were being not bribed. They were being essentially put in a corner, and they had to put out this information. So let's play the rest of this.
Mentioned in the lawsuit, Marcus and Joni were trying to get out in front of the lawsuit before the court documents were made public. On November 18th of 2010, the Lambs were served a letter stating they were being sued by their 3 previous Daystar employees. And wouldn't you know it, only 12 days later, Marcus and Joni
hard time here, my friends. Okay, so they were saying or claiming that they were being blackmailed, but in reality they were being sued by 3 different former employees. And I've seen some of the stuff where they had a lot of things behind lock and key. They were keeping different departments separated because they were hiding things. Their marketing department had a lock on it. I mean, that's kind of weird. You know, your marketing department should not have a lock on it. That's really kind of weird. And so it's just a lot of looking into this is very bizarre. But you have all these ministers. I'm sure you've seen numerous examples of these ministers falling left and right. This is God doing this. Okay, God is causing these people to fall because they were not right in the first place. He is choosing who will lead and who will not lead. That's what's going on with this whole thing. So, of course, they were trying to cover up a scandal with, apparently they're pretty used to doing this from what I can tell. Lying or tricking people. And so, this is just one of 100. I'm sure you can think of numerous other examples of people that have fallen of reason. There's lots of them. So I don't think I need to name names, but Carl Lentz is a very obvious one. He was Justin Bieber's pastor, and apparently he had 5 different affairs or something. Like, really, bro? 5? Okay, so 5 affairs, and apparently his wife was okay with it, which is another really bizarre thing. But that's another time, right? That's another video. Anyway, so you get the idea. So the church, these predictions were saying that the leadership is going to be removed and good leadership is going to be put in its place. The GOV, education, the church, etc., 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 everywhere. And this is God doing this. This isn't just weird happenstance. This is and of course you even have, what's really ironic is you have ministers coming out against some of this stuff. Okay? Ministers coming, because they don't understand what's going on. They don't understand this is God working. And they're like, literally speaking against some of the things that our president's doing, which is kind of interesting that they don't like some of the things he's doing. Oh, you're going to try to push God in school again. Really, bro? You're supposedly from God. You're supposedly a Christian, and you're saying that you're against that. Does that make any sense? Not really. So, of course, then you have this lady. You might have remembered her, Nala. She was an Only, of course, Fans person. And then she gave up the lifestyle, got married, and now she's a Christian, right? And then she's going around. I find this really interesting, okay? So this came out 13 days ago on Michael No's channel. She's being interviewed, and they're asking, in the title it literally asks, is she telling the truth or is she a liar? Right? Because there's a lot of people who don't believe her. And I happen to be one of them that doesn't. I believe that she's changed partially, but my whole point is that you'll see what I'm getting at. I'm going to show you some stuff, all right? Okay, so let me just show you this. This is kind of interesting. So this is some of her latest content. This is her latest content. I'm not joking. This is literally her latest content. I'm trying to show more, a little bit more on the screen. I can't even show any more on the screen. There we go. She's cooking food in her kitchen while making faces like this. I'm sure those faces look really familiar. I don't know. Where have I seen those faces before? Okay, so here, let's play this. Now, again, she used to be an Only, of course, Fans, and now she's now a believer, and she's making content on Instagram and other places. She's got a huge following. She doesn't apparently know Scripture very well because she doesn't even know that Jesus, of course, is God. She doesn't even know that, which is kind of amazing, considering she actually went to church her entire life and her dad used to be a minister. But at any rate, so here she is cooking. Just tell me if it looks normal to you or not. My goodness, man. Are you getting hungry yet? Are you getting hungry? I mean, look, literally the song is talking about, you heard the song, right? Worship and adore the woman. Like, literally, this is what is being said in the song. Please be true And of course, nothing going on there. I just accidentally hit my mic. I'm losing control here. I'm just messing with you guys. No, I thought it was a little interesting how she went from that one type of website to this. It's kind of weird. It almost reminds me of the same thing for some reason. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I mean, she's going like this with the thing. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm just imagining things, right? Maybe I'm just imagining things, and she's completely changed. And she should be teaching Bible studies and things. I mean, she looks like she's really knowledgeable. Okay, so, and at any rate, let me play this really quick.
People were tagging me in it on social media, and they said, "See, Michael, here's proof that she lied to you." She said that she lied to you because she said she lied about everything on all these podcasts because mine was the first podcast that she went on. I thought, maybe she lied to me. Then I looked at the context, though. That does not appear to be what you were saying.
It was not what I was saying, but people love clickbait.
And of course, they're talking about a clip where she said she was completely faking everything, and some people are saying, well, she's faking her faith. Well, that's not what she meant in the clip, but what's really interesting is her attitude, because she sounds very, very cocky when she comes off, when she's talking about all of this, and was acting very, very much like she was in the right, and she was saying a lot of stuff that wasn't. It was very obvious to me that like this was like a game to her. At least to me, in my mind, it feels like she's treating this as a game. I could be wrong. I mean, I guess I could be wrong, but it just felt like that, all right? It just felt like it was a game to her. At any rate, so there's that. But and like I said, I mean, goodness gracious, what is she doing with her cooking show? It reminds me of there's another one called Cooking with Kaya. I don't know if you've ever seen that. A lot of guys like to watch it. I don't know if you've ever seen Cooking with Kaya. Let me show you that really quick. And a lot of women don't like it. Matter of fact, you just type in cooking. Just type in, let's see if I can get it on the screen better. Just type in cooking, not even the full word. Cooking with Kaya. Yeah, Cooking with Kaya. Here, let me show you this.
Welcome to another video. Cooking with Kaya. Cooking with Kaya. Cooking with Kaya. Cooking with Kaya.
Yeah, she's literally doing that. I can't even show it on the screen. It won't even fit. My browser won't fit to show you, but she was doing what you're thinking she was doing, all right? She was like jingling there a little bit. So, of course, a lot of people like watching her cook. A lot of guys are getting into cooking because of that. My whole point is that, what am I trying to get at? My point is that we were in the age of the woman, where she, of course, was at the top. And this was intentional. This was intentional. As I said, it's supposed to be the age of the child, and they would invert everything. So instead of being a child of God, you're the child of the devil. You're very individualistic, very selfish. The whole idea with the woman is it's supposed to be the man, now it's the woman, and they invert it on purpose so everything's backwards. This is the entire point behind this. This is why everything is the way it is. Okay? I mean, I could also bring up Girls Gone Bible because they came out of nowhere and now have this Bible study or whatever you want to call it, and they're not exactly what I would call knowledgeable. Let's just put it that way. Not exactly what you call knowledgeable. Yet everyone's watching them. Why? Because they're beautiful, they're pretty, whatever you want to call it. So this is why people are watching it. So again, let's get over into some of this other stuff. So the next age was supposed to be justice. And here you have Aiwass. This is the being that spoke to Aleister Crowley. It's the devil, identified as the devil. And it says right here, in the law is for all. Okay. He goes on at length in comparison to various other deities and spiritual concepts, but especially to the fool. So Aiwass calls himself the fool. For example, he writes of Aiwass, in his absolute innocence and ignorance, he is the fool. He is the savior, being the son who shall trample crocodiles and tigers and avenge his father Osiris. So, this is very interesting. So, let me show you what's going on here. So, the devil, what he's doing is he's trying to mimic the King of Kings, but inverted. So, again, if we really are in this age, this Satan's little season, he's trying to mimic God's season, 1,000 years, millennial reign, the Son of God. Now he's trying to be a son or child himself. So he calls it the age of the child, but he inverts everything. Instead of you being wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, you're evil as a serpent and foolish as a dove. So he inverts it all. He inverts everything. Where he has the female, of course, on top. And it being, of course, gay, as I showed you with the Sibylline oracles. So this was the entire point behind this. And calls himself the fool. And he says his father is Osiris, so he's the son of Osiris. Let me show you that. Where is that at? I got it around here somewhere. I'm going to make a second video as well. Check it out. This is the actual being of the Harpocrates. That's the son of Osiris. And you can see it's a child. This is who Aiwass said he was. The being that spoke to Aleister Crowley. Okay? So it's a false son, of God. This is what the entire point behind that is. And so this is how the devil set up this time. Now, what's really interesting, Psalm 14. Believe it or not, this is mistranslated. I didn't know this until yesterday. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works, etc., etc. This isn't the word God. It's Elohim, which means gods. And it means much more than just God, plural. The fool has said in his heart, there are no gods. Let me show you what it really means. It means rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, gods. It says, the fool has said in his heart, there are no spiritual beings. There are no demons. There are no angels. There are no gods. There are no fallen angels. There's no watchers. There's none of that. The fool has said in his heart, there's none of these things. That's what it's actually saying. Why is that important? Because they set us forth to be in an age of atheism. And even in the church you see that. They don't even believe in these giants. They don't believe the giants existed. They don't believe in the watchers. They don't believe that there were divine beings that were small g gods. They don't even understand that these myths, the Greek myths, the Titans, they were actually real beings. This is mentioned all in the Sibylline oracles. They don't believe in any of this. So if you're in the church, you don't really believe the devil can do anything. You don't believe in all that mumbo jumbo. You don't believe in all that spiritual mumbo jumbo. You don't believe in the devil really doing anything. God doesn't really talk to us anymore. Doesn't do any of that stuff. You're like the fool. The fool had said in his heart, there is no gods. There are no beings. There's no angels. There's none of that. Hocus pocus. Right? You have it in the church. You have it outside the church. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson, all this kind of stuff, right? And it says that he wants to make us like him. We're in the age of the child, and he calls himself the fool. Aiwass calls himself the fool. He's the child, he's the fool. And he turned us all into children and fools. Picking up from there with the fool concept, you also have the Egypt concept. Now, you remember earlier I mentioned that we were entering into the golden, of course, age, or the age of Goshen, and that these men all predicted this, and that, of course, the devil wanted the age of Themis. That was what his intent was. Now, the age of Themis was social justice, which, of course, we've seen that in our society. But it was also something else. A number of the writers from the theosophical side talked about us becoming one race. That was another part of the concept. Here's one of the writings right here. Practical Idealism, where they wrote this. Man of the distant future will be, of course, hybrid. Today's races or, castes will change, fall victim to a growing defeat of space, time, and prejudice. The Eurasian, as you can read here, I'm not going to read it, they want to turn us into basically all mixed in some fashion, where we end up looking similar to an Egyptian. This is in multiple writings. These are the writings of these people from this sort of line of thinking. And lo and behold, what have we seen in the West? In England, America, pretty much everywhere. Bringing in, of course, the people who are from Arab countries, from countries where they have a different look. So then they want to mix. This is the entire point. And why? It sounds strange, right? Like, what would this have to do with anything, right? It seems odd, bizarre. And it seems to be something like a recreation of the Tower of Babel, where everyone is one person, one type of person. You see that, what I'm saying? It's like it was all separated by God, and the devil's trying to bring it back together, but in a sort of like bringing back the Tower of Babel kind of concept. So then everyone, and this is interesting, everyone at one time was a diversity of people, but now instead it will be a diversity of individuals. And then it comes back to that whole concept I mentioned earlier about individualism, where you only think about yourself, that you're an individual, that your needs, my selfishness, what I want. And that was essentially where they were trying to take this entire thing. It's really kind of bizarre when you look into it. At any rate. Alright, so I'm going to get into more of this over on my other channel, because I'm only halfway done. There's like a lot more. And I don't want to make this a super, super long video, so you're going to definitely want to check out my other channel, God Rules 2, for the continuation of this. I'm going to get into the whole thing with the baby boomers and how they went very much astray with this entire topic, how that led to a lot of us entering into this time. I'm going to get into actually a ton of other stuff. I'm going to get into, what else do we got here? Oh yeah, some other scriptures that relate to this. Sheep in the midst of wolves. I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into also this one here, how we're supposed to be according to 1 Corinthians 14 and how it's exact opposite. I'm going to get into also a number of other things, apocryphal stuff, and much more. And also get into some other stuff. At any rate, go check it out on the other channel. Kind of want to know what some of you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.
Anyway, this kid was just born virtuous.
What actually happens is that it reads the cycle continues.
This guy is the greatest guy in the world. He is genuine and a real sweetheart.
If you've watched me for any length of time, you know that we used to cover Only Use Me Blade a lot. His weekly antics led a large community of people to orbit him and see the next piss-soaked, slur-filled rampage. However, over a year ago, it appeared Blade might actually be reforming his ways by going sober, taking care of his mom, and even getting a job away from the internet. That reality is probably coming to a screeching halt with his recent relapse, leading to those still paying attention if there ever is really a light at the end of this tunnel. We are going to be examining Blade's lead up to his decision to go sober, and try to understand his rationale to take a step away from his degenerate lifestyle. The first moment that began the snowball event, in my opinion, was Willie's death was a tipping point for a lot of things in Blade's life. The house he was renting, he assured the audience, would be his own streamer content house, and that he couldn't get kicked out from it, only to get kicked out from it.
Don't be sad that it's over, be sad that it happened.
As his last hurrah, he decides to almost burn the house down, being incapable of heating up a frozen pizza, and decides to go on one last bender to send the house out in style.
We're about to cook this shit right here. Let's go smoke 3 ports at the same goddamn time, baby. Simba! Oh, that's bad. That's bad. I didn't do it right. I didn't do it right. Oh, it's gonna be sizzling. I'm gonna lose my deposit. That's sizzling, dude.
Dude, you put the paper in there. That's why.
We'll take it off then. I'm tired of solving your problems.
During this time frame, Blade began to allude to his strained relationship with his mother, and on multiple occasions would call her on stream to hash out a difficulty in his life or a memory he shared with her. On this unfortunate night, Blade calls his mom to discuss Willie's soon-to-be death and how he is grateful for his death because this might mean that he could get back together with Beck.
Hey, Mom. Hi, Mom. How's Willie doing? Shit. That motherfucker's on my support. He's on so. I hope he doesn't make it. I'm dead. Continue review. Oh, Willie's dead. He's gonna die, dude. Like, honestly, dude. Like, he's in the part where he died. So, hopefully, that kicks back. We're gonna figure it out.
Maybe as a form of damage control, during Blade's next stream, now hopping from motel room to motel room, Blade announces Willie's death. But chat wasn't falling for the pseudo-sympathy attempt and called him out for the phone call he had previously made with his mom.
2 days ago, Beck found out that Willie actually passed on either the 8th or the 7th, basically 2 weeks ago. So there you go. The final Willie update. Obviously my streams are supposed to be lighthearted and fun, but this is a serious situation. I stream my life. This is part of my life. I gave you an update, even though I don't have to, but that's what happened.
Blade, your wish was granted. Remember when you said to your mom you wished Willie died so you could get back with Beck? Well, your wish got granted and Beck is still with you, so I guess that's a W. Also, I hope half of these donos go to fund Willie's funeral.
This doesn't stop Blade from making jokes to his allegedly grieving girlfriend Beck, and pulling off the fakest crocodile tears so that he can bury his face into her breasts and call her ass fat.
I have to say this. In a way, Beck, I'm not trying to be funny here, but he did kind of ghost you, literally.
I know you want to cry, just let it out. It's okay, you deal with a lot to bottle it all up. Beck, you should let it out as well. You deserve happiness, love, is beautiful, but you have to accept the good and the bad is beautiful.
Luckily for us, Blade was able to get drunk and was back to his usual antics, including pissing in the sink.
This bitch be every minute a ball Jaeger and figure it out. Okay.
For the foreseeable months, Blade would be couch surfing from one friend's house to the next. At his friend's Grace's house, he gets a call from a notorious former collaborator, Keemstar. Keem has frequently reappeared in Blade's life, usually at his lowest points, to try and steer the ship in the right direction, and as expected, this would only embolden Blade's previous behavior, leading him to double down.
So, hi, Keem. I'm not drunk or anything, but I got a lot of people in my chat. I'm having a good time. Hi. What was this tweet that you made about me?
Oh, about the guy that died?
Yeah, somebody did die, but it wasn't my fault, though.
Well, let's set up a proper interview and go over it.
That's fair, because I have nothing to hide, dude. Cool. Call me tomorrow.
I would hide all the jokes and shit you were making the other night about the guy dying. I would hide that, for starters.
No, but that's how I deal with shit, because I make jokes, but I didn't do anything, and it's not my fault, so... You know that's how I deal with tragedy, dude.
So you doing these drunk streams and, you know, people donate money for a drink and then you have all these orders and you have a house and everyone getting partying, getting fucking wasted, and then when someone does fucking, pass out, you don't take care of them, you just,
No, okay, well then, no, Keem. First off, Keem, this guy came to my house. He woke me up. I didn't encourage him to drink any alcohol. I didn't do anything. I wasn't drunk at all. Alright, so, now this person, chose to drink. We can talk about something else, but this person chose to drink, and then he had a misfortune, and it led to that. But I didn't drink any alcohol, dude. I was sober as fuck, dude. I didn't drink anything. Why did he die? Because about a month previous, he was in a bad car accident. He was on hell medication.
Congestive heart failure. Did he not? Yeah, congestive heart failure.
Congestive heart failure.
No, actually.
I did not know that. Listen, Keem, you know that I'm a partier, obviously, okay? I wasn't partying with this guy. I literally took this guy to get water and supplies, whatever, not alcohol related, and got kicked out of Walmart. I was sober. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't not the degenerate shit. And this person after passed. It's really unfortunate situation, but it's not my fault. It had nothing to do with me. Why? Because I didn't do anything, okay? No.
Keem essentially implies that Blade is responsible for Willie's death because of the culture he surrounds himself with. While certainly harboring a sort of low-life degeneracy, if you watched the stream, you'd see that Blade was sober and mostly not interacting with Willie. The truly culpable instigators, apart from Willie himself, are Tone and Sing. Speaking of Tone, around this time, he began coping, trying to prove to the audience that Willie was still alive, and he shouldn't be pestered by people for his passing.
I'm not bringing any more information to the internet until I know. I'm gonna keep this off stream. Maybe this was a bad idea. I got a little excited. I thought this would be good proof. And
Blade even showed proof that an investigator had been in contact with him and that he had essentially been cleared of any wrongdoing and felt basically zero remorse.
Detective Matthews, Kansas City Police Department, Master Drug Enforcement. Okay, if you think I feel guilty, I don't.
That didn't stop chat from constantly trying to get under Blade's skin, which was usually responded to with general apathy.
Can we get a Willie update?
Willie dead.
Get a Willie update.
Willie dead.
Get a Willie update.
Willie dead.
Willie dead.
All of this led Blade to wanting to get out of Dodge, and more importantly, focusing on getting Liddy again. The first step in accomplishing that goal is to throw a dog around just like the good old days.
Not a fact.
He lost the dog.
While at Sheepdog's house, Blade expressed his desire to hook up with her daughter.
Well, let's use the shot glass. Oh my god! Chicken, give my shot glass! Oh, never mind. Go back to sleep, chicken. Seriously, dude. So, I wish your daughter was a hotter.
Sorry, Beck.
Wow. Hey, did you hear his daughter got big boobs?
She's...
E?
No. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that.
Deal. I'm in your house.
When that proposition gets brutally shot down, including a scolding by his former lover, Blade turns his attention to Sheepdog. This man is beaten down and drunk. Why won't anyone have sex with him?
Everyone knows that.
Do you work? It's natural. I squirt. You would have been way higher, like in 95.
I was.
Can I get your daughter? Can I get your daughter?
You have a...
I know.
When his advances inevitably fail, Blade resorts to his tried and true classic, slapping her across the face before getting his back blown out by Bjorn.
Come here, Rude.
No, hold on. Wait. Let me ask.
Okay, that was a real dono.
Whoa.
Yeah, maybe don't do that, but...
Blade on multiple occasions during his time online has attempted to go sober, and during this spiral, now was no different. People speculated that he did so to try and win Beck back, but I'm not sure that there's a lot of validity to that. While they stayed in contact for a while until he got out to the West Coast, there wasn't really any strong indications that a reunion was going to be imminent.
Also, no one will watch you if you don't drink and keeping yourself, you know that. Also, we heard this before. You're a drunk loser with little broke PB.
We can all admit that drunk Brian or Mitt Romney, it was fun, but I gotta knock it off, dude. Because my livelihood and my health, but my livelihood comes off of streaming, and I can't stream anymore. And this is not a Beck told me to do this shit. This is clearly the writing's on the wall. If I drunk stream, I will get banned. Simple as that, dude. I can't control myself. I'm powerless to the booze.
Your only way of making money is streaming, which eventually will lead to drinking. You are a horrible dude and fortunately trapped living your worst life. Have a shot here.
I'll be fine, dude. I always figure it out. I always figure it out. Quit before. I'm doing it now. Please, come on this journey with me.
During this time was a rekindling of Blade's desire to become a traditional streamer, no drinking involved. He goes through cycles of being litty and then doing absolute boredom non-tent COD streams. Blade would explain after that his crackdown is because any place he tried to rent from would pull up his clips and deny him, leading him to threaten to strike clip channels, archiving his debauchery. Blade can blame Clippers for his tribulations, but even his supposed friends would eventually have enough of his antics and boot him out as well.
Hey, anybody type in Z, mods ban him. I don't need your shit today. Not in the mood, bruh. If you type Z in my chat, you will get banned. Come on, mods, help me out here. For me trying to rent a place, I literally got clips from Figure It Out and Billabong sent back to me by people that were trying to rent to me. It's not gonna backfire me.
Predictably, he goes right back to the bottle. While I think he enjoys the sensation of being litty, I imagine the constant dopamine hit of money, donations, and viewers will always be Blade's tipping point back to the bottle.
Big old shot, and let's do it. No. I'm not getting super drunk. I'm using it.
We even almost get DUI driving part 2 before Beck calls to stop him. He needed a little mixer for his next drinky poo and was planning on going to the convenience store down the street. Luckily for himself and everybody around him, that was avoided. Blade's complete lack of care or respect for himself or others bleeds into his propensity to spit all over the floor and carelessly spill drinks every place he heads to.
Tyler, I took a shot for you, dude. Love me, person. Take me to church.
The next stream, Blade desires to go to the casino to lose money and get litty. Unfortunately for him, his first Uber ride did not go well and led to the lady kicking Blade to the curb.
Get out, I'm sorry.
You're safe. I'm just trying to go to the casino. Come on. You guys are fucking pieces of shit, dude.
The subsequent driver did not go well either. Blade got kicked out for repeating the same question too many times and TTS donations ruining the fun.
How you doing, dude? What? The door's not shut. Sorry. How you doing this fine night, sir?
Billy donated $3. Diver. This man is pleasuring himself on your fine back center
I'm not.
It's a fetish. He loves buying Corinthian leather. He will make you taste him.
Which one you want to do? You want to turn it off or you want to get out and walk? I want to go to the thing out. I'll just turn it. Bye, dude. So good.
So with no car to get to the casino, Blade drunkenly begins to play Frogger in the street and accuse every passing car as, and I quote, being his Uber, dude.
Let's go to the casino, Rosen. Oh, I love you, dude.
My name is Brian, donated $3. Play Country Roads, Blade.
Country Roads, simply O's, pick me up. I gotta go home. Hey, can I just go home, dude? Let's go to the casino, dude. I want to go to the casino, dude. Hell, dude. Hell. Is you Marudo? Are you Marudo, dude?
The pain Blade probably feels deep down is constantly masked by the barrel-sized amounts of liquor he pours down his gullet. On his birthday stream, Blade expressed his desire to be the caretaker of his mother and watch out for her. He also expresses that she is a difficult person to deal with. Whether this is genuine or some thinly veiled attempt at getting free housing and benefits is left up to the viewer to decide.
She's gonna die alone. I mean, that's kind of what's going on. And like, she's done a lot of pretty horrible things to everyone in her life, and kind of a shitty birthday present to be like, hey, I know you were gonna like come up here and take me, but I don't want you in my apartment. I don't want you in my life. My mom doesn't want me to come up to Seattle, be your caregiver, even though we made plans for it. Even though that was kind of what I wanted to do, is we had everything set up to get hired by the state for me to be a caregiver for her. I would have done it anyways because my mom, and I love her, but my mom is a very, very, very difficult person. And she alienates a lot of people. She's not a fan of me drinking, but, you know, what mother would be a fan of someone getting, like, shitty? But my mom listens to chat and has gone through countless caregivers, and they all quit on her because she's extremely difficult. She accused Beck of stealing medication or whatever. Dude, there's got to be a reason why, you know, people over the years have, like, stood by me, even though I've done some shitty things, you know?
What isn't so thinly veiled is Blade's desire to get drunk and celebrate anyway.
When I get to Seattle, I'm gonna go straight to my mom's house, knock on the door, be like, hey, it's your son Brian, face to face. I came out here, let's try to make this work. This is so stupid. This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. Best birthday ever. Oh my god, so much Jaeger. That's so much Jaeger. There's so much Jaeger.
We even end up at a Waffle House, where Blade very nonchalantly tries to get the employees to call him a good person because he, and I quote, tips the tab, or pays 100% tip. That effort doesn't really work out, and he calls one of them poor as he waits for an Uber.
My birthday, dude.
Yeah, I'm waiting to get off.
Me too, dude.
I'm tired of it.
I hate streaming. Figure it out.
Yeah, I can't be on any social media.
Yeah, I know. You're bored to die.
I can't help it, bro. It's my job, dog. Don't use your OJ, brother.
I know, dude.
Blade would make an appearance on Lolcow Live that was mostly uninteresting, besides the belittling of Boogie, who was constantly spreading misinformation about Blade repeatedly throughout the show. One of the intriguing aspects was Blade confirming that he basically lives stream to stream and has very little money saved up on the side.
Then it gets to the point where I'm like, man, I gotta pay bills, and so I'm like, I end up breaking down, saying, get a bottle, get drunk, get money, wake up, hangover, drink water, do it again.
Are you living month to month, like pay wise?
Absolutely.
Like, because I was going to ask you that, because if you're living in that situation, I was going to ask you, is there an escape plan from this? Because you can't continue to do this. You're in your 40s now. Your body's breaking down. Like, you can't. Your long-term plan can't be like, I'm a little drunk stream every time I need to pay a light bill.
Well, obviously, I'm not going to be drunk streaming when I'm fucking 50. I've been actively looking for an out plan.
What won't be shown is Blade's short stay with one of his pay pigs, Terry. Basically, Blade pissed everywhere, got way too drunk, and the building manager forced Terry to kick him out.
Like, I left Terry on extremely good terms. Terry didn't kick me out. The fucking property management sent a letter. I wish I had it, but I don't really want to, like, dox that, you know?
The reason Blade was staying with Terry was to set up shop in Seattle in order to go have a conversation with his mom. However, instead, he decides he won't be doing that and recounts some less than flattering stories about his mom because of spite. I'm not really sure why he continues to air out this dirty laundry online.
People have things like, are you gonna go visit? Are you gonna visit her? Right now, no. You don't need to tell me this long-winded story on why I need to send you money, Mom. Tell me how much you need. I'll send it. You're my mom. Love you. Figure it out. Dude, I would do that shit. I remember one time, she was like, she had this long story. I'm like, Mom, like I said, I don't care. You're my mom. What you need? I get a fucking phone call with slot machines going off all around the place, and she's hiccuping, which means she's been drinking wine. And I'm like, Mom, what's going on? She's like, well, I need you to come by. I need you to, like, pick me up. And you have to pay for the valet. I'm like, and that is the woman that gave me life. And she raised me. But
Blade copes the way he knows best, with another Jaeger bottle.
We're gonna bottle up in here because that's what we need, dude, and I love you guys. Calm down, bitch.
During this 2-day bender, Keem calls to convince drunk Blade to go to rehab. But come on, let's be honest, like that would ever really happen.
It should be $4 TTS for water, not Jaeger. Why are you drinking more Jaeger?
Because I owe it, dude.
What do you mean you owe it? Do you not have a buzz right?
No, someone donated for it.
I'm looking at this stream and I'm trying to figure out if you're drunk or not. It appears that you're already drunk. So,
I'm on a bender, sir.
Yeah, the bender has already passed the line. Now you gotta go the other way. Now it's TDS for shots of water.
Hey, you want me to do a shot of water? I'll do a shot of water right now, sir.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, now the stream is about to come to an end because you're about to pass out.
I'm gonna pass out, dude. You're poor, dude. You're so poor, dude.
Alright, we're water boat.
Calm down, Keem. What's up, dude?
Going into rehab
Am I?
tomorrow.
Nice. Cool, dude.
So you have to start rehab tomorrow at noon. So you have to drink water and go to bed.
Okay, cool. God, you're poor, dude.
His tales of drunkenness spiral like how most of his nights go, and the motel manager ends up calling the police to do a checkup on him, which leads to an officer smugly turning off the stream, leading to the chat being confused as to whether or not Blade was going to be arrested and or kicked out of the motel.
I did. This is a mistake. Bye-bye. Actually, let's wait for the donations, dude.
Brian, it's the Bellevue Police Department. Wake up, brother. Brian. What's that? You want to sit up and talk to me, man?
No.
Do I need to have an ambulance come check you out? Well, the management is asking you to leave. I've seen what you've been putting on YouTube, and they're not going to press criminal charges yet, so long as you leave the property voluntarily, okay?
Blade awakens the next day, pepperoni nips and all, notifying the audience that he wasn't arrested. Just needed a bender, and he'll be back to streaming soon.
This isn't gonna be a long stream. This isn't even a stream. This is just a wellness check. I'm cool. I saw some bullshit talking about I got arrested or something. None of that shit happened, dude. Figure it out. I just went on a bender. We're good. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.
With his housing situation constantly in flux, constantly being kicked out or moved around from different places, and at least in the short term, no interest in honestly going to see his mom, Blade makes a plan to head to the remote mountains in California to meet up with his friend Orange. Before that, he has a stream where he breaks down, having a discussion with his mom about the poor treatment that they've done to each other throughout the years.
And I miss you, and I hated this last month because it's like that's my mom, you know? Like, you're my mom. You've been there for me through everything.
Where did it come from? Why did you say such horrible things about me? I mean, before you came, and then the main reason why, other than the fact that they probably wouldn't let you be there, the main reason why was because you were saying what a horrible person I was.
Okay, well, like I said before...
You think I've been a horrible person?
No, I don't think you've been a horrible person.
Upon reaching Ted Kaczynski's cabin, Blade gets drunk, eats burnt pizza, and gets scolded for talking shit from Beck.
I guess you did.
Yeah, dude. Come slide out. On the ground. Figure it out. I just told Martin. Hi, I'm streaming.
Yeah, you keep talking your shit. You told me that Willie was a weirdo. You met him on the truck. You were the biggest weirdo, creep weirdo talk. Don't talk your shit. You remember who the fucking queen was when you split.
Well, if you guys are here, apparently I'm the worst person of all time.
Unfortunately for Blade, he's not staying in the cabin. Instead, he has to hike 250 yards up to an RV to sleep in. The open leg sores and lack of physical activity besides wheezing and pissing himself has made it almost impossible to reach the summit.
I honestly run up that stuff barefoot all the time.
See, my legs are on fire. Oh shit. Okay. Sorry, dude.
You get it? You get it? You know, Blade keeps his shoes nice. Watch out for there. Getting low. That was a spot that you could have fell in.
But he does, and has a good night of sleep. Maybe a little too good of a night of sleep because he broke the plywood support and pissed all over the bed.
I'm not sitting there anymore.
Oh, what? Did you yiss it?
I didn't use it. I did not. It's not wet. It's not wet.
It's definitely wet. I mean, you can't deny it's not wet. That makes it extra like you pissed it. You could have said I spilled water on it.
I didn't, but I didn't. No, I didn't.
No. You don't have to. I'm not mad that you peed it. You definitely peed it.
I didn't pee it.
I mean, it's super soaked.
It's not.
It is. And there's probably the wetness.
It's not wet, dude.
It is.
Bro, I pee lots of beds.
Dude, it's wet. You can feel it. It's nasty when it's wet.
Oh well, nothing a little milk, liquor, and cigarettes can't do for you.
Put the milk down for a second. You gotta get up there. One top lap. You gotta complete.
You're really mean to me, dude. You're really mean to me, dude. You're really mean to me, dude.
Basketball.
Yeah.
That night, Orange basically destroys completely intoxicated Blade. He starts snarling and crawling all over him in bed. By the way, Blade pissed himself 2 nights in a row, leading to the infamous 400 years of milk moment.
Let's do that now, dude. What's wrong with you, dude? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Gotta say this. Ginger Grizzly, dude. I'm not, dude. I know you were, dude. Can we figure it out, dude?
Fresh pee, he just peed. Fresh pee, he just peed. Look at that. He's got a knee in his pee, but he's got a knee in his own pee. Blade's knee is in Blade's pee. Your fucking bed cave raider, look at this. He caved in the whole lid. Favorite word, watch your mouth out. What's your favorite word? What's your favorite word? Say it. Say it again. Say your favorite word, watch your mouth out.
Unsurprisingly, Blade got out of there pretty quickly. He was probably one more night away from ending up buried in an unmarked grave in the mountains. There's an equally short stay at Sheepdogs where he makes food, gets drunk, and pisses all over the couch, leading him to being kicked out. This is becoming a repetitive gag at this point.
Yeah, slow skin. Sorry guys, I know that doesn't sound like the normal Blade you guys know, but like I want to be able to stream. I don't want to like black out. I'm alone right now, so I don't even have a babysitter, so I gotta be fucking super careful. So let's make these cheddar bay biscuits the proper way, and we'll figure that out.
Oh my god. That shit is insane.
Oh my god. 50. Donate 50. donate 10 subs or 50 and I'll chuck this and we'll figure it out then.
Arguably, the last big tipping point was New Year's 2024. Blade chooses to get drunk one last time before going sober into the new year.
Maybe we'll just like turn up tonight and then we'll just go sober. So like when?
Orange, instead of spending Christmas Eve with your dying mother, I watched you get knife-only news. Stop kidding yourself and your viewers who aren't going sober after tonight. Please save yourself if you are dying.
Like, I've kind of taken a step back and trying to look at it like, dude, what's like really money? You're really trying to make it.
Unfortunately for him, he accurately predicts him getting kicked out of the first motel that he was holed up within.
Seems like I get kicked out of everywhere I go. Calls, I leave the location, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Was more calls? Or?
Yeah, we're still getting calls, and like at this point, we're either way.
Give me like 20 minutes, I'll be out here.
Appreciate it. Yes.
He conveniently chooses a new motel that has a sliding door into the parking lot where he can take a nice relaxing pavement piss.
And please wake up. I am not trolling, I am genuinely looking out for you.
Heartbreak. Dude, it's New Year's, person. It's New Year's, person.
The chaos and shouting leads to the manager trying to remove Blade and ultimately calling the police, who come through the piss-soaked entrance, tasers drawn, and end his stream, bringing us into the new year the only way Blade knows possible.
Alright, calm down, boisterous.
Sir, you need to leave.
Music a little bit.
Sir, go ahead, please.
Oh no. So I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Wow. 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 You're so confused.
So racist.
Brian. Brian, show me your hand. Brian. Hey, can you talk to us, Brian?
Anonymous donated $4. 400 years of not pain.
Brian. Hey, what's going on?
The next time we see Blade, he is with a new group of people in Vegas getting attacked by the Tickle Monster.
Give me another air bomb. Give me another air bomb, brother. I'm normal. Carry another air bomb, brother.
No person. That's normal.
The air bomb person. Please. Come on, stop. I'm serious. Emily, you're awesome. You're awesome, but please don't do that. Emily. I'm just extreme. Stop it. Stop, please. I'm asking nicely, please.
The Tickle Monster informs him that the rest of the group despises him and views him as a bad influence and wants to cut him off. He is completely oblivious to this statement and moves forward as normal. Him and his buddy wander to a bar and take 6 Jaeger shots each before stumbling back onto the strip to keep partying.
John, that's too much.
6 and 6. I'm taking all these with you.
Fucking did.
That's what I'm saying, brother. Fucking did. 12 total. Oh my god.
Woo!
Woo! Did you just spit on me? Holy fuck, bro. Don't drop it. Don't drop it. Oh no, don't drop it.
Blade is so drunk that he trips and falls into the bushes while muttering the N-word repetitively.
Yep, totally. Shit, okay, yeah, we fell a little bit.
The night ends with his buddy trying to fight a stranger and Blade unsuccessfully rizzing the tickle monster. This would be the last drinking stream for about a year.
Don't touch me, bro.
He says the same thing. Hey, he says the same thing to me.
Walk away right now. No, hey, no, dude, you made it weird, dude. You made it weird, dude. You made it weird, dude.
Blade is actually doing a very good job. Like, he's rizzing Emily so good. It's actually so good. He's actually doing it.
My ass.
The story gets a bit more muffled here. At some point, Blade rectifies any kerfuffle that he and his mom have, moves to Seattle, and becomes her permanent caretaker. These streams are mired by mostly uninteresting gambling or COD streams, but for the most part, the audience believe that Blade might have truly turned a corner and tried to straighten his life out.
2-1 shot. I have not drank since Vegas back in January. What are we in May? So it's like 3-4 months. I've been doing a job in the evening that I'm not going to talk any more about than that because, you know, callers and shit. Mama Blade's doing well, man. Mama Blade's doing well. I like the hair. You like the hair there? Yeah, it's, you know.
One interesting moment during this time span was when Blade's mom fell in her chair while he was streaming. A lot of this chat said he was being too negligent, but in all honesty, if his mom needs literal 24/7 attentive care, then she should be housed in a professional environment, not under Blade's watchful eyes.
So I'm exposing my mom. My mom fell tonight. Everyone on the stream heard it. I'm her caregiver. I made sure she's good. So, earlier tonight, my mom, she fell. All of a sudden I'm doing my stream, and all of a sudden I hear Brian. So what I do is obviously I rush out there, and she is like, her body's like all mangled in between her electric wheelchair and the table out there. So she just had a little whoopsie doodles.
Blade credits his sobriety with being able to look out for and care for his mother.
Not just getting the Jaeger bottle and going to town and figuring it out. And tonight is a perfect example of why I can't and why I won't. Okay? This is the reason why. I was presented with the opportunity to be a caretaker for my mom. My mom was born in 49. Literally makes her 75 years old. She's getting up there, dude. She's old. She needs help. She needs assistance. So, got hired by the state of Washington to be a caregiver for my mom.
Usually the streams end up something like this, where Blade slowly showcases him cooking a meal for him and his mom. In December of 2024, Blade reunited with Chicken Andy to check up on him and have some real interactions that weren't solely with his mom or chat. Blade has spent the last decade gallivanting across the country with others. His new lifestyle was probably extremely isolating. I can kinda understand him wanting to reach out to some of his former friends that were in town.
We are sitting at a bar. How many months sober are you? Jesus, months. Are you gonna do a whole year? Huh? Are you gonna do a year?
Yeah, no.
Well, sorry I got to see you at the bar. I hope that's not. So funny.
Blade reveals that while he is his mother's caretaker, he can't be paid by the government because of his criminal past. This brings up a question as to how he was surviving off minimal stream donations and his mother's funds.
take care of my mom's. You know, we're doing a caretaker. You can say about the government? That's pretty cool. It would have been nice to have been good money. Are you guys from here?
Blade assures Chicken that he is retired, but only from drinking. He wants to try and get into that hourly paid kick system. Chicken seems shocked to hear that he has been streaming, because without drinking, Blade's relevance has fallen to the lowest it has been in a long time.
I don't know if you're gonna. Are you gonna come back? I mean, I guess I gotta ask you. Like a party, maybe? I mean, I kind of know.
I mean, I like to come back.
We're here at 5 a.m.
I've been sober a year. Every time I feel the kid, I get high.
When was your last drink? Do people know?
Sorry. Fire, right?
The kick's nice. Honestly, like,
Are you ever saying it hourly? So it's kind of
that's very nice. I have no connection. You're barking up the wrong tree.
Tell me that before I drove all the way out here.
Blade reiterates that he's being hamstrung by past stupid decisions that are impacting his current potential to earn money.
I feel like being sober for a year, it's like 10 years I drink this stupid shit. I get banned for that. Now I'm sober. It's been a year.
So, you can't do that. Okay.
I'm not drinking anymore. I've been drinking all year, dude.
Alright, I'll tell myself. I can't do that.
He says that he only drank on stream, and if chat really wanted him to relapse, he'd need $5,000. Then he'd buy a bottle and drink it slowly throughout a whole stream. Little did we know what would come a month later.
How are you sober for a year? How do you sober?
I'm not streaming.
Not bad.
That's it. Like, I didn't drink off stream. Like, everyone thought that I drank off stream. I never drank off stream. So, in order for me to like go through that, you gotta pay me. If I'm not gonna pay for it, I'm like, oh, I've been drinking almost a year.
What kind of can make you relapse?
$5,000.
$5,000? You know you can make $5,000.
Yeah, if they really want that, I'll get 8 bottles and do a stream. And they don't even do fire till 400 bottles.
Chicken wraps up their meeting by getting Blade to bless a shot of Jaeger for him.
No, I mean, that's just blessing. Your blessing. I need your blessing on my Jaeger for it. Pour it in my beer.
On Blade's Instagram, a couple days before his relapse, he makes a post responding to a comment that sarcastically asked Blade to return to drunk streaming. Blade says it destroyed his life too much, and while he's tempted at times, he's resilient enough to resist the temptation. But it must have been resting in the back of his head, because with the goal being $125, down from $5,000 he touted a month ago, the viewers convinced Blade to drink yet again.
Poopy, 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 poopy.
Tiny bottles. I know you can wait, dude. There you go. Happy.
But it's not just one shot, it's multiple. and multiple turns into another goal for a larger bottle. Blade begins to get giddy at the idea of getting lit again.
Perfect. Perfect! Perfect! We are getting the bottle. I got a ride to go get the bottle. Get louder. Here's the thing, dude. I'm taking a shot, but not because of Puppy Heil, persons, whatever. I'm taking a shot because I want to, not because I can. Figure it out, dude.
The question of his mother gets brought up because, after all, that is supposed to be his one and only responsibility. He says that she's at the hospital, hopefully for overnight, because there's no way that he can go get her, leading me to wonder if Blade was just waiting for the opportunity to be all alone, break his sobriety, and make a shit ton of money in the meantime. Because I should reiterate, he wasn't being paid by the government and hasn't saved any of the money he's made, so there's a decent chance he is broke and looking for a way back to making money. Who knows what happened to that evening job he alleges that he had.
Use Me Board donated $4. Where is your mom at, person?
The hospital.
Like any other Blade Drunk stream, he spirals to unintelligible baby babble in between his teeth falling out and shouting slurs.
Terry! Terry! Hey, man. You see a Blade sleeping? Watch that, dude.
Blade calls Keem during the next lolcow stream and says this is only a one-off thing, a way to make a ton of money, but nothing more.
We're doing the show and we're talking about how you fell off the wagon.
Just a one-time thing, back to normal. But it made a bunch of money, but it's not a habit we're gonna play again. So.
Well, we're all concerned for you and we're hoping it's just a one-off thing.
Just a one-off thing.
All right, man. Take care.
The question of if this is truly a one-off thing should be questioned. Sobriety isn't a simple straight line to perfection. There will constantly be stumbles and temptations that can stymie people. As of me making this video, Blade hasn't streamed again, possibly marking the end of a true Lit Romney spiral. But I'd be curious what you think, and if this will become a more serious thing or not. Either way, until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Like, I used to drink a lot, and I really cut back. It's actually kind of interesting. This is a Sunday morning, and I'm not wasted drunk. What happened was I got pretty plastered drunk safely, and we went, not we, but a buddy of mine and I, we went to go pick up Black Ops, and I thought it'd be funny if I went and picked up Black Ops when I was hammered. And I thought it would be really funny if I acted as if people should know who I am, which is totally not what I'm like in real life.
You foolish man, I am a Jito Ryo master. Allow me to reunite you with your ancestor.
mama.
Basketball. Strong to the hoop and just straight up with it.
right at fork in road. In Soviet Russia, road forks you.
Why is that getting old?
pour stack, got brothers acting down, and they be acting down from the cook that's playing. People breaking neck from this demonstration. We about mass appeal, no segregation. Got black to Asian and Caucasian, saying that's the joint, that's the jam. Turn it up and play it again. That's the joint, that's the jam. Turn it up and play it again. Let your body collide to the rhythm provided by the mind state affairs. Classified to make your heat up and flare. I swear, a serenade the soul and so beware. And what's happening here? Sequel to heavenly feeling a peace of mind. Let your spine unwind. Maybe in time we can stop this crime. But until then, yo, I'ma rock a rhyme saying that's the joint, that's the jam. Turn it up and play it again. That's the joint, that's the jam. Turn it up, play it again. Got the stakes appeal with the junk that's real. I don't need no steel to make my point. Get down and dirty, cause that's my joint. Ha, we preferably make our point through a nation we build off the musical field or a visual thrill. We do what we feel, anytime and place, on stage in your face, orbiting in earth and outer space. Because we rock that we flip that we on some East Coast, West Coast cosmic some northbound some southbound some overseas London, out of town rocking the joint, rocking the jam. Turn it up and play it again, cause that's the joint, that's the jam. Turn it up and play it again, that's the joint, that's the jam. Turn it up and play it again, that's the joint, that's the jam. Turn it up and play it again.
It's got groove, it's got feeling.
A chick-a-doom.
see danger. Yo. It's a blessing to struggle, but get a nickel to guzzle. Make sure you share and your hustle won't be hustle to grubble. Now everybody eat. Wisdom from the street, from the heavenly, yeah, one is greater. I see the shark fins, the shark bait, bone and bone out every room. Yeah, the fish fillet, nothing is hidden on dinner plate. Drew Gotham City, go got the trippy, sticky jaws, grippy. The Dell dip in the dark web. Used to be centered before it turned Timmy, tucking and tangled to get rid of information before anybody knows. All it takes is one decode and boom. Now old wounds is old wounds. One touch from fresh cut stings like a fresh cut. Nobody loves. Sounds out the cases like Questlove. It's just drugs. The Messiah look at Kid Foz. It's just sin to the cockroach, the scarecrow, the Fourth Reich. I don't speak for the grade. Twist like it's yay. Like you get played right for the stage fights. No stage frights. Want your A once with some A1. The stakes done to the chosen ones on the stake. All of the clowns think they won to the resurrection. And someone play forever, though grace and mercy, forgiving sin, but the people are hurting. Everybody don't just see it small, some hurt all. You broke your last straw. Someone play forever, though grace and mercy, forgiving sin, but the people are hurting. Everybody don't just see it small, some hurt all. You broke your last straw. What's it gonna be? Will this make up your mind? What you talking about? Will this rewind? Coyotes wanna run roads for meat, and greet beat. When I have ruach, I see deep. I move smarter. I work genuine and I work harder. Fate pleases y'all to be a way parter. If I need a partner, the grounds be trustworthy. So when it gets shaky, we stand like palm trees. 319, the Black Hawk cries, the Sark fox miles behind. The spiritual lies and body chalk. Some were divine and some were divine. The cross thought, last straw can be a new life or a coffin walk. Someone play forever, though grace and mercy, forgiving sin, but the people are hurting. Everybody don't just see it small, some hurt all. You broke your last straw. Someone play forever, though grace and mercy, forgiving sin, but the people are hurting. Everybody don't just see it small, some hurt all. You broke your last straw. I see danger.
A King Shogun Productions.